And good morning. Good Saturday morning. Glad to have you with us. Welcome to Sports Talk. Cloudy skies this morning. No sunshine, but not quite as bad as football Friday night. Wow.
No sunshine when I'm gone.
Well, I got a new nickname for Mike Powell.
What's up?
The girl with the dragon tattoo.
The girl?
Well, you and Brad been discussing that movie this morning.
Rooney Mara.
Football royalty is where she comes from. Football royalty,
absolutely.
probably the two of the best known owners in all of the NFL. Yeah. Good morning, guys. Incredible that I'm awake after a long night. That quote comes from Hooks, and I could say the exact same thing for Mike, Brad, and myself. The game we attended last night at North Lincoln and North Lincoln did get finished after about an hour lightning delay, and it looks like, looking at the scoreboard, may have been one of the few in the area that got finished. Some were called finals, but they didn't necessarily get played the entire 48 minutes of high school
football. You got games
football.
Starting this morning, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock.
Really?
It's all,
Yeah. East Lincoln, I know East Lincoln and Forest View have the same open week.
Now, that's lucky.
It is, because they moved theirs to Friday the 13th, and that would be September 13th. And why is that date important, Sullivan?
It's my birthday.
Because it's his birthday.
Now, Sullivan, have you heard all about Friday the 13th? You know all about it, right? Okay, that's what I'm saying.
Oh, he's going to love it. As big a Halloween fan as he is as well.
I figured him for a Halloween fan.
Yeah. I tell you, the high school football schedule was interrupted last night, and I don't know. Did it ever rain? Did it rain at North Lincoln, Brett? You were outside.
No,
never rained.
I got back to Cherryville, and it hadn't rained there.
It hadn't rained in Cherryville.
Krause. Anyway.
But after that long lightning delay, it continued to lightning.
It did.
The rest of the game.
Yeah.
I saw a beautiful streaky lightning pattern as we were walking out of the stadium last night to our cars. Yeah.
Okay. I know lightning has to be within have to stop the game if it's within so many. I don't know what the distance is, what the regulations is of the stadium or whatever. But
19 miles, is it
that far away? 19 miles. Well, here's my question. We see lightning all the time. Did you ever hear it thunder?
Yeah.
So it couldn't have been real close, right?
Well, later that night, I woke to the sound of thunder.
You did,
no.
Bob. That's a good one. Speaking of that, I've got a trivia question for you guys. That involves.
Yeah, I know you won. You feel haughty. You won third place.
Yeah, well, that has nothing to do with it.
On a two-man team.
This is just something I saw this morning, and
you got a gift card.
I saw something this morning that caught my attention. With college football really cranking up, I guess today.
Oh yeah.
There
was a lot of games some games last night.
And the Friday night, I got home and I flipped it on, and guess what? I probably saw 5 minutes of college football last night, and I was out. Don't remember anymore. And I can't even remember at this point who it was. Was it Stanford? Stanford
and
they played last night.
Yeah.
TCU. I don't know
ACC Stanford. It wasn't TCU, was it?
Yeah.
Was it? Okay. See, that shows you what kind of state of mind I was in. Whenever
it was like in the second quarter or something.
Right. Yeah. West Coast game coming on.
I don't know how it came out. We'll find out, I guess.
Yeah. Lightning. They're still in a lightning delay. Jason said it did rain in Denver last night during the delay.
Okay.
So they got some rain. Hook says Providence Day score I gave you last night was posted wrong.
Ooh.
That was a JV score, I'm thinking. The varsity game against Asheville was canceled. So I wonder if it was canceled beforehand or due to the weather or what the situation might have been there. Providence Day, where the big guy from Reidsville has transferred to, and they lost their opening game to Weddington. And Hooks had thought they had lost again last night, but turns out that's the JV game. So we'll get into those high school scores in a little bit. And let me go ahead and tell you, like Brett said as we cranked up this morning, when we give you scores, we don't know if they're finals, if they're first quarter, if they're complete. You know, there's only a couple that we'll know the answer to of whether or not they are final scores.
No, we don't know.
Or not. Isn't it weird how we always have, you know, a lot of times we have delays, you know, it'll rain and the games will be moved up. Might not be a delay, might be moved up to Thursday, things like that. But it seems very rarely that you don't get to the football stadium and get playing and get to finish it.
Yeah, that is rare.
And last night seems like it might have been the most non-complete games in the history of the NCAA, you know, for one single night.
Storm activity was just all over our area, everywhere.
Yep. Fortunately, ours did get completed. Ours did get completed last night where we were. North Lincoln defeated Lincoln last night, another county rivalry game, 41-20 in that one. Where Jason was at East Lincoln, it was still in the first quarter.
Yeah.
Didn't get out of the first quarter, but East Lincoln had a 14-0 lead on Forest View. West Lincoln was a winner last night. I do know that. And we'll get into all that in a little bit as well. Big night for Gray Ponder at the running back position for the Rebels as they rolled to a shutout win. And over Cherryville. I'm trying to think of our immediate area teams. Maiden had the night off. They couldn't have picked a better night to have off.
Really?
I know it's early in the season. They probably like to have it a little later than last night, but Maiden had the night off and didn't have to worry about the weather quite so much. Pretty sure Bandy's had a win last night. If it was complete, there again, you know, that's going to be the kicker if it was complete. And how many of them, like Brett told us, that Hickory and Newton was 34-0 at the half.
I don't know if it even made it to halftime.
But they elected not to. If I get, you know, obviously, I mean, it's no knock on Newton, but if it's 34-0,
no,
I'm not. It don't need to be completed.
It does not.
You know, I wouldn't think. But and you know, I don't think the state really has any regulations for anything like that. They don't make you go back and play and finish it, you know.
So it would be up to the two schools involved?
I would guess.
Right.
Who else would it be up to?
Yeah.
You?
So what would you do if you were Newton? Just, well, we don't want to.
You know.
It's a loss.
Yeah, right. Just put it down as a loss.
Put it down as a loss.
No knock on Newton, but if it's 34-0.5, even if Hickory plays the second team, it's probably going to be a little worse
40-some
in the end. Now, see, I don't know how that affects max preps and things like that. That would be one reason that the state might say, well, you got to, you know, for these reasons, you've got to do it. But I don't think they do. I don't think they.
Okay.
I don't think they push for completing the games like that. Too many of them don't get played, and you know, when you gonna go back and do it? You told me there's games scheduled this morning for 10 a.m.
Well, that's what I heard last night on Football Friday Night on BT. Yeah.
How long is that show now?
Well, it's 10 minutes, but you can go to their app and watch another 25 minutes.
Do you do that?
I have been doing it.
Have you? Okay. That's what I wonder. What percentage of people that are watching?
Well, I don't know, but I've been doing it.
Yeah. Yep. And I haven't yet. I haven't yet. But then again, I haven't even really tuned into Football Friday Night because it's so short.
It's the WBTV app.
Um,
And you could get it on any device, I suppose.
I don't know. You know, it used to be there was competition in Charlotte between the other channels. You know, I thought maybe since CBS is basically forcing WBTV to start showing, you know, network stuff earlier, that one of the other channels might say, hey, this is our opportunity. And they haven't done it, have they?
Well, maybe some of them have the same kind of
rules.
Of course, NBC.
And then somebody used to do one on Saturday morning.
I know.
You know, you get up on Saturday morning, and of course, for our sake, I'm glad they don't have that. I don't know what time it was, but if it's after 10 o'clock, that would be fine. But for our sake, you know, we wouldn't
want to go head to head.
Yeah, we try to cover as many as we can and talk about as many as we can, but It's just kind of odd that there's not more, because high school football,
I just quit watching.
is
them
it less
altogether.
popular than it was 10 years ago?
I wouldn't say that.
No, I wouldn't either.
No.
You know, I mean, there's
well,
more
yeah,
schools, more
I
population.
think just based on crowd size, it is.
Do you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Hooks just sends me a link. Watch live, WBTV. Let's see. So I'm guessing that's. Well, if I watch it live right now, it's not going to be
It's
football.
No.
But maybe that's the recording from last night's football Friday night.
Yeah, you could watch it. It's around 30 minutes.
Used to be Channel 3 had some competition when remember Harold Johnson?
Oh, yeah.
Are you
Channel
old
9?
enough to remember Harold Johnson?
Yeah.
Brett and Harold Johnson.
What was his nickname?
Oh my.
Harold Johnson.
Mike Painter says, I don't stay up to watch football Friday night anymore. Well, you know, I'm either hadn't got home quite yet or more worried about getting in bed and getting some sleep for the next
No, there was
morning.
a time, I guess, during the era of Dino Little that the thing was
Dino? That's Fred Flintstone's dog.
But anyway, it was an hour long.
Delano.
I'm sorry. Dino Little.
Yeah, it was an hour on
on
TV.
On TV.
Yep.
I mean, they had
Sometimes they might even go over an hour, but
And they would just start the late show when it ended.
it was actually the late show.
Yeah.
Ned Yates says, good morning, men. I left West Lincoln Delight and Delay at halftime. Cherville in similar position as Newton, as they were down 33-0 at the half. So now I'm wondering, is that all they played, Ned? Did they just play a half?
Well, no, because it got to 50.
Oh, did it? I can't even remember. Hadn't got that far yet. Yeah.
I think I saw 52-0.
52.
Mike Painter says the show went downhill after Dino left. Delano, I'm just kidding. He said Delano.
One could make a case for that when they shortened it, and you got 10 minutes.
Harold Johnson. That was the one I was talking about a little earlier. Harold Johnson, the big guy. That's what Richard says. He used to call us at the station back in the day,
guy,
WCSL. Right. He'd get out of a helicopter a lot. Paul Cameron used to get out of the helicopter.
Yeah.
But the last time I saw a helicopter bring anything in was at Pisgah High.
Yeah.
I think, were both of you guys with me?
I wasn't there.
I was.
Brett wasn't with me. Okay.
Yeah.
I've
seen it on
Pisgah
YouTube.
Shelby
Seen the video.
playoff game.
Yeah.
15 years ago, maybe. The mascot Pisgah Bear got out of the helicopter with the game ball.
He did.
And that's the last time I've seen a helicopter land at a football field.
That was an impressive entrance.
Lenny says Harold was the big guy.
The big guy.
Boy, I tell you what, these people love their nicknames. Butch Parker texts me Harold Johnson was the big guy. A lot of big guys floating around. Harold was something else.
He was.
He was one of those guys you loved or you hated. There wasn't a lot of in between.
I'll tell you, somebody I hadn't heard him on the air lately. Steve Hornishords.
He's retired.
I know, but he did a game last night, East Burke and Freedom.
I think that's all he does, though.
Yeah.
It's like football.
Yeah, he
Friday
is
night
retired.
games,
Yeah. Just does occasional sound.
The Mountain Man.
The mountain. Yeah, he always covered the western end, didn't he?
Yep.
Anywhere from, I don't know, Mount Mitchell down to East Burke, the hills and the mountains.
Yep. I think he lived in Morganton, but I'm not sure. Let's see. It says, here's one from Hooks. Harold Johnson had a kid that played at Statesville. I'm thinking the kid played place kicker. And I remember I remember he was from Statesville. Harold
was
lived
from
in
Statesville.
Scott Cloninger says, huge crowd at the Pisgah Shelby game that the helicopter flew into.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It was a huge crowd on both sides that night. One of the best atmospheres I'd ever seen for a high school football game was over at Pisgah on that particular night. I think Shelby went in there and kind of ruined the atmosphere, if I'm not mistaken. I think they won that night, but it was a pretty good game. It wasn't. Definitely wasn't a blowout.
It was like
or anything.
a 8-10 point game, something like that.
Yep. Butch says choppers are not allowed at school anymore,
Oh,
except medevac.
yeah. Makes sense.
Yep. Yep. Not allowed at games. Does that mean if you park one at 3 o'clock, you still not allowed to be there, or is it just in action choppers?
That's what I think he means.
Yeah.
In action.
Yep. Well, I guess that for years and years they might have dodged a bullet that there was never an accident in our area. There might have been one somewhere, but at least in our local area, I don't ever remember an accident at a football game. At a football game, anyway, with that involved a chopper, as that name. But you're not talking about Chopper from Bandy's, though. That he is allowed at football games.
I was thinking about Zed's chopper that Butch Coolidge had to take in Pulp Fiction.
It's not a motorcycle, baby. It's a chopper. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
And that was Bruce Willis's
Yeah.
character.
Coolidge.
Yeah.
Butch Coolidge.
Yep. See, I remember a few things. I've always loved that line. I don't know how many times he said it to his girlfriend.
Zed didn't make it. He wasn't going to need that chopper anymore. So.
Yeah. That was so funny. He said that over and over to his girlfriend. Every time she'd say motorcycle, it's not a motorcycle, baby. It's a chopper. That became my favorite line.
Is that your favorite line from?
Butch says Chopper should not be allowed at the Bandy's games, but yes, he is. Brad, I'm looking here on ESPN, and it's got a picture of the name escapes me, so you're going to have to help me.
Ohtani.
I know who he is. It's just sad that the head football coach
Marcus Freeman
of Notre Dame, Marcus Freeman. On the cover here, it says the Week 1 preview, the lowdown on the 25 best games to get things rolling. We got a surprise for you this morning. Mike and Brett and myself have each picked our 12 college football playoff teams.
And we took it all the way down to the championship game.
I'm anxious to see how many we have the same. I'm going to guess that we probably
going to be massive
at least half.
Oh, I'd say well over half.
You think?
Yeah. That's just my guess, unless you went out on,
I did on a couple.
You got Wake Forest in?
I didn't go that far.
Okay.
Hey, how about my Boomer son?
No knock on Wake Forest. I didn't go that far.
I have one ACC team, and it's not Wake Forest.
I think I have two. But I honestly, I can't remember, and my paper is folded right
and
here.
One's got to get in. And that's the only reason I have one.
One has to get in. Yeah, you're right. A conference champion will get in. Let's see. Ned says we'd call Harold Johnson from Garinger after losing, and he puts in parentheses again, with a final and stats, and he was very appreciative. Poor old Garinger went through some lean years there on the gridiron. As we start this morning, just a few things. Any big news in Major League Baseball? Anything that we need to know about in Major League Baseball? Or is it status quo?
Ohtani became the first player to do something last night. That's why I thought he might have been at the top of ESPN.
40-40?
The 40-40.
Is that what it is?
Last week.
Well, yeah, I think it's
45-45?
I think it's 43-43 is what he's at now.
Okay. They create a new category
Mm-hmm.
all the time. But, I mean, it creates itself. They don't really create the new category. It actually creates itself.
Well, I guess with every home run or stolen base he has now, it's going to be harder for somebody to reach that mark.
If Ohtani is the MVP of the National League, and that guy that plays for the
Aaron
Yankees,
Judge,
if he is the MVP of the National League, and these are going to be runaways, who is second? Who would be second in each league?
I think Bobby Witt from Kansas City would be second in the American League.
Okay.
Bobby Witt Bobby Witt Jr.
I don't even know senior, but I do know junior.
Hitting 341,
Amazing.
28 home runs, 95 RBI, 27 stolen bases. He's having a great year. Those are MVP numbers, and Kansas City's pretty good.
Yeah, they are.
14 games over 500.
And weren't they just terrible last year?
Yeah,
They had a couple good years
last
and then
several
a
years, they were
setback or
terrible.
two, and now seem to be right back in contention.
But yeah, Judge is running away with it. He is hitting 331, 51 home runs, 123 RBI.
So who would be your second guy in the National League?
That I don't really know.
Yeah.
Batting average, Marcell Ozuna is leading. Otani's fifth.
Funny you said that, because right when you said Osuna's leading, Denny Hoover says Osuna the Braves would be second in the National League.
He's leading in batting average, second in home runs, leading in RBI. So I would say that one's a lot tighter than the American League race.
But it's still no.
I mean, Ozuna's leading Otani in multiple categories.
Is he?
Yeah. Batting average and home runs, or batting average and RBI. And Otani's got more home runs.
Does popularity play a role in this?
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It does, don't
Yeah.
it?
Otani's also second in stolen bases in the National League.
And Otani is, I think, the most popular player in Major League Baseball, and with Judge a close second. It's just because,
Yeah, probably.
and
so.
he will be even more so if he comes back and pitches.
Yeah,
I
He
mean,
hadn't pitched yet for the Dodgers.
and
Right.
if Mike Trout would have ever left the Angels, he could have been the most popular player
Yeah.
in baseball for a
Yeah.
while. But
what would
think-
you have done?
I think the playing for the Angels is a big negative for a lot of reasons. but-
Angels in the outfield.
Yeah, and he's not even in the outfield. He's on the
Yeah.
IL, is he not?
Mhm.
A lot of the time he
Yeah,
is
a lot
now.
of the time. I just wondered about that. What would you have done? Would you have been loyal to the team, or would you? I mean, look,
I would have done what Otani
Yeah,
did. I went to the
exactly.
Dodgers and
And I think-
taken $700 million.
I think 9 or higher, 9 out of every 10 superstar players are going to move. This day and time, they're going to move,
Mhm.
and I wouldn't blame them one bit for moving. Rodney Willis has sent me a novel. That is a typing man right there. He has sent me a novel
This
here.
is Anna Karenina. Wow.
Yeah. On Monday, Danny Jansen.
Oh, yeah, we talked about that last week.
Okay. Well, it wasn't on Monday then.
No.
We foresaw that he was going to do this?
Yeah, because it was already in the headlines.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Last
but
Saturday.
I know what you're talking about now. He played for 2 teams in the same game.
Yeah.
Yes, we did. Rodney was a late joiner last week, I think. But Danny Jansen of the Red Sox, a completion of a suspended game June 26th against the Blue Jays. He had been the starting catcher for Toronto, and he's the first one to ever do this too, by the way. He was a starting catcher for Toronto in a game before, and it was traded to Boston and was at the plate the second inning when the game was delayed due to rain. By coming in for the Red Sox in the resumption, Jansen became the first Major League Baseball player to play 2 teams in the same game.
Yep.
I've seen that in some softball tournaments. Rodney
He
probably
only-
has too.
Yeah, you get mad at your team and go join another team.
Lenny says Bobby Witt would probably be a second, and which we mentioned, and Juan Soto third.
Oh, yeah, he's having a great year, too.
Jaron Durant fourth in the American League, who's really burst onto the scene for the Red Sox this year. A guy with every time I watch him, I think that guy's got world-class speed. He can actually scoot around those bases. But yeah. So if you were going to pick your Final Four in Major League Baseball today, and I mean just today, your Final Four, who would they be? Wow.
I go Yankees, Astros,
Silence.
Dodgers, Phillies.
The Astros is definitely one of mine. They really turned things around after that first month. Didn't the big guy have 3 home runs a couple nights ago in a game?
Alvarez.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't. I mean, if you're doing the American League Championship Series,
They've been in
you
it
can't
7
leave
straight
Houston
years.
out.
Did I
Yeah.
hear that?
It's something
7
like
years
that.
in a row. They've been in the ALCS. That's hard to believe.
yeah.
It's not that easy to get there anymore. You know
And
what
that's
I mean?
with. They had 3 different managers during that span.
Dusty. Was that one of them? I can't
Yeah,
remember.
and the one that cheated.
They didn't cheat.
Who was it? Well, he got fired because of it.
Yeah.
Hinch, was that his name?
That may be right. I can't remember now.
Was last year Dusty Baker's last year?
I think so.
Okay, then this is their 3rd one, so they hadn't made it with their 3rd manager yet.
Well, now that you said that, I'm sitting here thinking, was it last year or the year before? The things kind of run together. A.J. Hinch, Lenny says.
Yeah, I'm not even sure who their manager is now, but
He's getting it done.
Doesn't seem to matter.
No, it doesn't. I just think if they still had Springer in that, you know.
Yeah, he hadn't been great though.
Every time I watch him, he destroys my team. Seems like he plays his
Yeah.
best against Boston. Toronto, right? Isn't that,
Yeah.
I got that right. That's
Yeah.
where he's at these days. The Red Sox beat the Tigers 7-5. Milwaukee over Cincinnati 5-4. Atlanta over the Phillies 7-2. Milwaukee in a football game. Must have been a doubleheader. Second game of the day, 14-0. The Packers beat the Bengals.
Springer just hitting 217.
217.
Yeah, with 19 home runs.
Don't look at-
not even a lot of power to go with that
You
low average.
could refigure those 3 digits and have his batting average against Boston. It would be
Yeah,
7-12.
7 something. That's what he did in the World Series against the Dodgers that year. He hit a home run every other time.
San Diego beat Tampa 13-5. Is this team hot, and are they a factor? Padres?
Yeah.
Will they be a factor in the playoffs? Somebody to watch out for?
Oh yeah, yeah. If they, assuming they get in, I don't even know where they sit in the wild card.
Yeah. Well, I heard one guy one night. The reason I say that, one of the guys on the MLB Network said, "Who would be who would be the top challenger that we're not talking about?" You know, and everybody's come up with San Diego because their roster has got talent on it and they're starting to play pretty well. So I just wondered.
They got pretty good starting pitching too.
Yeah, that's what. Now that you said that, that's exactly where he went. He said the pitching would be what carries them. The Yankees beat the Cards 6-3. Cleveland 10-8 over Pittsburgh, and Oakland over Texas by a score of 9-2. You guys seen the commercials that are on TV, all over TV now about moving to Ohio, trying to recruit population to Ohio? Y'all going? Moving up?
Yeah.
They can't get anybody to live there.
Yeah, this man and woman, they meet at a dance or a nightclub, right? Yeah.
I don't know, Mike. I didn't have all the details, but I do remember seeing that.
Every other person you meet is from Ohio, but none of them live there now. So I guess everybody's moving out of Ohio.
Yeah. So
The Rust Belt, they used to call it, right?
the what?
The Rust Belt.
The Rust Belt?
The Rust Belt.
Maybe that's why. Yeah, could be why they're out there. Mike, your Giants won over Miami last night by a score of 3-1. Just a few of the Major League Baseball scores.
They're right at 500 again.
From
they've
last
been most
night.
of the year.
Right at 500 again, the man says.
Matter of fact, they are 68 and 68.
That's right at 500.
It's right at 500.
About as close as one can get, is it not? Let's see here. About time for us to take our first time out.
We want to welcome some people on Facebook.
Go right ahead.
Scott
We need
Cloninger, Milton Sain, Link Polly,
Good morning, fellas.
and Marco Arias.
Good morning, Marco.
Mhm.
All right, here's your first lyrics of the morning. We're going to take a time out. And I'm going first because might be the easiest one I've ever thrown out there. And it's just what I came up with this morning because I heard it. I'm only going to give you one line. Took my family away from my Carolina home. Back in a moment.
First Federal Savings Bank has been serving Lincoln County since 1940. And as it has been from the beginning, customer service is a priority to First Federal Savings Bank. They want to get to know you by name. First Federal Savings Bank has the convenience, the products, and the services that the larger banks have, but with hometown people that you see throughout your community. Stop in and visit one of their 4 convenient locations and see what First Federal Savings Bank has to offer you. Member FDIC, an equal housing lender.
Dr. John Klunger III and Dr. Aaron Hebner's mission is to earn their patients' respect and trust through the commitment and positivity, and offer the dental solutions in a professional environment to improve oral and overall health. The practice will be accepting new patients. Just call 704-735-0765 to schedule an immediate appointment. We can provide services like extractions, crowns, bridges, fillings, night guards, cleanings, and deep cleanings, sleep apnea appliances, partials, and dentures. We can also advise determine a treatment plan for dental implants. Dr. John Klunger III and Dr. Aaron Hebner, 904 Doncha Drive, Lincoln. Call 704-735-0765 to schedule your appointment and experience the dental profession in a warm and no-pressure environment. I'm telling you, the apple didn't fall far.
Whether it's a sit-down meal or a call-in for the drive-thru, Brookwood Cafe and Catering is the answer. A variety of meats, vegetables, and desserts cooked daily, or a hot sandwich from the grill, they have what you're looking for to satisfy your taste buds. If you need catering from 5 to 500, Brookwood has you covered as well. Stop by Brookwood Cafe and Catering at 202 Providence Mill Road in Maiden. Don't forget breakfast daily till 11 a.m. Open Tuesday 6 a.m. to 2 p.m., Wednesday through Saturday 6 a.m. till 8 p.m., and Sunday from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. Call 828-428-8944 to place your order today.
Untangling your headphones, finding the right remote, saying goodbye to your favorite shirt that hasn't fit in 10 years. Why are simple things sometimes so complicated? Thankfully, with Auto Owners, insurance doesn't have to be one of them. Auto Owners works with independent agents who live in your community and answer when you call, so you can worry about more important things, like finding a new favorite shirt. That's simple human sense.
Call Mooney Insurance in Maiden or East Lincoln Insurance in Denver or visit mooneyinsurance.com.
It's time to get ready for spring. Time to head to Full Throttle Power Sports and 95 Trailers. Test drive an ATV or side-by-side today. Full Throttle Power Sports carries CF Moto, Yamaha, Suzuki, Kawasaki, Honda, and Slingshot. And check out the trailers with brand names like SureTrack, Iron Bull, and Triton. Stop by or give them a call at 704-833-1270. Full Throttle Power Sports, 100 Indian Walk in Lowell. Online at ncfullthrottle.com. They deal in fun.
Hi, folks. This is Will Poteet, president and co-owner of RE/MAX Crossroads. The real estate market is ever-changing, but it's not too late to sell your home for a great price. If you're thinking about selling your home, give us a call at 704-736-1717 to speak with one of our expert agents. We would love the opportunity to earn your business.
This is Creighton Kell with Kell Insurance. We have been helping people for over 25 years with all their Medicare needs. We represent the same national and local companies as the insurance agencies you see on TV. And you know what? We can sit down with you one-on-one and help you find the right plan just for you.
Kell Insurance is located beside the Cultural Center and behind Gillum Realty in downtown Lincoln. 107 North Cedar Street. Call 704-732-4646 and follow them on Facebook. Kell Insurance.
I told you it was one of the easier ones I've ever come up with. I'm getting answers from everybody. Let's see. Brad and Mike got it real real quick. Got Butch Parker with the correct answer. Rodney Willis, Ned Yates, Hooks, Lenny, all getting Marshall Tucker Band, Fire on the Mountain. Fire on the Mountain. So
the days of Southern rock reign supreme.
Yep. Saw them one time in the airport, not in concert.
You've seen everybody in the
Saw 'em,
airport.
and I have seen quite a few. But Marshall Tucker, one of the more well-known and absolutely 100% Southern rock bands. I told you guys I was going to give you it's college football getting underway today, and I know these are states I'm going to give you in this trivia question, but they are also states, with universities that have college football teams that probably will be playing today. So what song is it? You ready for this, Mike? Are you paying attention?
Yeah.
Because you'll ask me a question in a minute that I just said. Are you ready?
Yep.
What song and group in the mid-decade of the 2000s, does that make sense to you?
Mid-decade of the 2000s.
Yep, middle of that decade.
2010, 11, something.
No. 2000s, not the
05,
not the
06.
not the 10s.
Okay.
But you're close there. I'll just go ahead and tell you. I'll give it to you. 06. This came out in 06.
This came out in 06.
And this song mentions Mississippi, Alabama, Louisiana, and there was one more.
Is this a country song? Are we getting away from my roots?
We're getting away from our roots, and it's absolutely 100% not country.
Oh.
Mississippi, Alabama, Louisiana, and why can't I find the other one here? There was 4. That ought to give you enough there anyway.
Not country.
And it is in. I'll go ahead and tell you. You got any ideas, Brett?
Yeah, but I don't know if I'm right.
It is in your wheelhouse.
Oh
buddy.
yeah, I know that.
Well, then don't say just yet.
I've seen them.
Yes, you have. Alabama.
Sullivan ought to know.
Alabama, Louisiana, Mississippi, and for some reason I'm overlooking.
It was getting born in the state of Mississippi.
Yeah. Yep. That's the first line of the song,
Yeah.
Mike. Yep. That's the first line of the song. Oh, California, obviously.
Oh yeah.
is another one. Did you get that, Mike? Obviously, is one of the other ones.
Did it mention Ohio?
I hope not. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, that just made me when I read those lyrics, it made me think of football cranking up. Ole Miss plays today.
Oh yeah,
I'm
well
sure.
you mentioned those southeastern.
Yeah, Alabama getting in the
states.
swing of things. LSU with
Texas
Louisiana.
A&M.
Also in action, I'm sure, this weekend. I would guess they are. Here's the other one that's in there. Indiana.
That's it, Indiana. Yeah.
Indiana.
I finally found it. Indiana is another one that's in it. Not so much known for their football.
And it's
No.
not it's not Mary Jane's Last Dance.
And they do have good teams every now and then. Think on that, Mike. See if you can come up with that. I knew Brett would get it pretty quick because it's one of his favorites and one of Sullivan's favorites too. I'm surprised he hadn't come up with it over there on the other side. I'm just going to look here real quick and see if I can get you some information on how these games went. Let's see. I don't want Saturday. Get me to Friday. I don't understand how when you click on ESPN scores, you know what the first thing is you get? Today's schedule.
Yeah.
And that's not a score. But we will go over today's schedule. Clemson, Georgia. I remember when they used to play each other the first game of the year quite often. Back to that, and it's a big one, it's number 1 Georgia, 14 Clemson. I'm trying. Wow, 12-point spread.
I thought it was 14. I guess it went down a little bit.
It was 14. This is I think Clemson in this situation is in a no-lose situation because as long as they play close, right?
Yep.
So but they have a chance to really make a statement if they could somehow win this game. Clemson and Georgia, just like the old days, is this an early one? 12 noon. That's about as early as they start these days.
Yeah, that's weird. Have a game that big
Starting
at noon.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you're not going prime time on a Saturday with that?
Penn State, West Virginia. Trying to 7.5 point Penn State.
That's where the Fox pregame is.
Yep. I'm going to guess that in those first two games, we collectively have 3 of those teams in our final 12. Just throwing that out there. Because we're going to.
I've got one.
One? Well, I know which one that is.
Yeah. Pretty easy to figure out.
Yes, it is. That has to be those dogs. Mike Powell's not talking. He don't know. Either he don't understand what I'm saying, or out of Clemson, Georgia, Penn State, and West Virginia, I was just going to guess that you had 3 of those in your final 12. The list is in front of you. Look at it. Don't say which ones. Just look at it.
I do.
Yeah, I just thought you might. Illinois State visits Iowa today. That one might wind up 4-3.
Well, they hired a new offensive coordinator. They finally got rid of Brian Ferentz,
The son.
The son of.
Yeah. How would that be, Mike, if you had to fire your son?
Yeah.
I wouldn't have any problem with it.
Yeah. He's sitting right in front of you.
We got to get this
It's
done
all
here.
business.
It's all business. It is.
Well, as long as they average more than 15 points a game, which I think is what they averaged last year.
Okay, here's my question. Is the son still on the staff?
Now,
But,
that's a great question.
But just no longer the
I
OC.
don't know.
You know?
It'd be easy to check. Just go to their website. But
Would you want to stay on the staff if you were demoted?
Yeah, because who else is going to hire you?
Well, you'd have to take a lesser job. At a
Yeah, you're
different-
not going to get an offensive
right.
coordinator.
Not right away.
Not right away.
But maybe he can prove himself. Maybe have a chance to prove himself
But
again
he probably needs to do
sometime
it
down the
somewhere
road.
else.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, I just wondered about that. Chattanooga at Tennessee. Chattanooga's in Tennessee, but Chattanooga at Tennessee. Our buddy Roger's on the way over there this morning to watch his Volunteers open the season against an in-state rival, South Dakota State at Oklahoma State. What do you make out of that?
Well, it's I'd say South Dakota State's a dangerous opponent. Football, the FCS division, and they're always good.
Yeah, they've been the one winning it the last couple of years, haven't they?
Well, look what happened.
They took over for North Dakota State.
Yeah.
Which is still good, and they gave Colorado a big scare the other night.
Let's see. South Dakota State will win that, says Hooks. He's going out on he's going out there and just saying it right there. South Dakota State is going to beat Oklahoma State. How many years has Mike Gundy been the head coach at
About
Oklahoma
18 now.
I was thinking 81.
He's been there a while.
Yeah. He's got to be one of the most tenured
in the country
at one spot.
Yeah.
Is there any that been there longer?
I don't know.
What year's Dabo in, Lanny?
17.
Is he up there around
Yes,
17? Yeah, I was thinking about him when I was
time.
thinking, other guys have moved around so much, and even Saban's not at Alabama anymore, so you got a new guy there, so you can't claim him. And I don't think he's had 17 in, has he, at Alabama? I really can't remember, though. It goes by so quick, he might have 17 in. And I'm thinking about some of these other schools, and I'm just talking about the D1s, the Power Fives, whatever, the ones that we know the names of. I don't even really know the names of them anymore.
And think of anybody that's had that kind of tenure.
Yeah.
How long's
Mike
NC
Gundy.
State's Dave Dorn been there?
Oh, yeah,
been there a while.
47.
10 years maybe, 12?
Gundy's 19 years. He's second longest.
Yeah.
tenured.
Yeah. 19 years.
To who?
Gundy,
Who's first?
Kirk,
Ferentz.
Oh, yeah.
Iowa.
Iowa.
Yep, he has been there a while. And whoever was there, was a Hayden Fry before him?
Yeah, Hayden
who was
Fry.
there 50 years.
50 years.
was just number
Seemed,
5.
seemed like.
17.
Hook says, I don't know if anybody watched the NC State game, but I think Western Carolina has a good team, and they are going to give some other teams a fit. Yeah, there's no doubt about that, staying with NC State throughout most of the contest.
Oh, yeah, 24-21 in the fourth quarter before State was able to pull away.
Thank you, Butch, for this. Kevin Wilson, head coach at Tulsa, the Golden Hurricanes. What did they do last night? They opened with Northwestern State. Let's make sure we put State on the end of that. Northwestern State, and it was a 62-28 win for the Tulsa Golden Hurricane. I guess was that. Did he say that was on
Friday night or Thursday?
Let's see. Sorry about that. Let's go back and look. Thursday.
Yeah.
Jason Barber says Dave Duran is in year 12.
It looks like
Seems longer, don't it?
Yeah. Kyle Whittingham at Utah. He's also been there since 05, like Gundy.
Yeah. Yep. Utah has become a very solid program. Did they play last night? Maybe I'll get to some scores here in a
They
minute.
played Thursday and
They played
defeated,
Thursday and blew out Southern Utah or something
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that.
yeah.
49 Zippo.
Yeah, that's blowing them out. That's taking care of business. BTO, right?
Yeah, they're in my round 1 buys.
As I say these, I've already got Hook's answer, so I want you guys to tell me as I go down the road who is a ranked team in danger today of losing their opener. Now we know Clemson or Georgia one has to lose. Okay, so you can't really use that.
Yeah,
one.
I'd say Clemson's in pretty
Yeah,
pretty big danger.
But you can't really use that because one of the ranked teams.
And then
has
same
to
with
lose.
Notre Dame and A&M. One of those is going
One
to
of those
lose.
got to go down.
No, I'd say maybe number 19 Miami going against Florida in the swamp. Maybe. They're in danger.
Yeah, it's a rivalry game. I didn't know that's who they were opening with. That's one I will. That's one I'll pay attention to. Miami's supposed to be pretty good. Supposed to be maybe a little bit on the rebound. South Dakota State, Oklahoma State, Akron at Ohio State. It won't be the Buckeyes in any. They will quickly zip up Akron, right?
Mm-hmm.
Colorado State and Texas. I don't think that the Rams have anything for Texas in this game being played in Austin. Miami and Florida. That's two teams over the last 15 years you really don't know what you're going to get,
Well, I know
out of
this.
either one of them.
The seat is hot for Florida coach Billy Napier.
Yeah, it should be.
Yeah, he hasn't
Third
done
year,
well.
not done that well.
Mm-hmm. Alabama at home against Western Kentucky. I doubt the Tide is in much jeopardy. Ole Miss taking on Furman. Ole Miss is ranked number 6.
Mm-hmm.
Can they maintain that throughout the SEC schedule?
It's hard to say because the SEC schedule is so brutal. I mean,
I've got them in the playoff.
yep, I do too.
2 out of 3 ain't bad.
Their 3 big ones are LSU, Oklahoma, Georgia.
Yep.
Oklahoma and Georgia are at home. They
Well,
got to go to LSU.
They won't win all 3 of those.
No.
So will they
no
win
way.
2 or will they lose 2?
Well, even if they lose 2, as
They're
long as
still
they win
okay.
their other 10 games, they can still get in.
What's the worst record you can get in with? I'd say 9-3, depending on who you are.
Yeah, I'd go with that. I think you could lose.
Yeah,
3
I think a
games and get
3-loss
in.
team can get in.
Mhm.
There could even be a 3-loss team win their conference.
Yeah.
True. That is true. UT Martin and Kansas State. Kansas State ranked number 18. Always enjoy watching Kansas State. I don't know why. I just have. I like Kansas State. I always liked
I do too,
Snyder.
when they're not,
Was it Bill Snyder?
Bill Snyder.
That coached them for 103 years.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just enjoy it. And Oregon as well. I like watching the Oregon Ducks. And believe it or not, they are ranked 3rd. I don't know if they can live up to that or not.
Tough conference they're in now.
It is. Idaho, the Vandals visit Oregon. Notre Dame, Texas A&M. How you feeling about it, Brett?
Nervous.
Nervous?
No, that's a team
tough
that could
start.
lose its ranking.
Yeah, 7 at 20. 7 at 20, which when you look at the line, that's going to tell you a lot. Just Texas A&M's a 3-point favorite.
I saw a graphic the other day that had that showed who had the advantage at each position or position group. It said Notre Dame was better at quarterback, running back, receiver, and tight end, but A&M better on offensive line.
Wow.
I thought that is weird because it would usually be the other way around.
Exactly.
But Notre Dame lost their best lineman for the year, and between their 5 starting linemen, they have 6 career starts. So it's a very new
inexperience
group.
is the key there. How can they overcome the inexperience of the offensive line?
Now, they should be pretty good on defense.
It will be 205 degrees at kickoff today at
Kyle
Field.
That place is going to be
College
wild.
Station.
That's where game day is. It's a night game.
Actually, it says 95.
It's
95.
That's going to be a tough. That's going to be a tough start.
Notre Dame just got to play ball control, right? Who is the head coach at A&M now?
Oh, it's the guy that left Duke, Elko.
That's even more.
He was, he's Notre Dame's defensive coordinator.
That's even more
left for Duke, and now he's at
and
A&M after. I mean, he really did well.
Made the Duke football program important again.
Yeah.
We'll see if they can
and
stay.
Hopefully, I was going to say, hopefully, is it Manny Diaz?
Is that who took that job? Former Miami coach.
Hopefully, he can maintain.
Michigan at home. What was you going to say, Mike?
No, you're talking about Manny Diaz at Duke, right?
Yeah.
You just got a flip from the top defensive lineman in the country, flipping from Clemson to Duke.
I saw that earlier this week. That happened.
The guy's name.
That's odd.
Yeah.
Where's he from? Where'd you say, or did you say?
I want to say he's from Florida.
Okay. Wow. The fact he's not staying in Florida is.
Well, everybody's saying, when's the last time, if ever, Duke has landed or at least got a commit from a 5-star?
But now Diaz has ties to Florida because
he
coached Miami, right?
Right.
For several years. Michigan at home to take on Fresno State. New Mexico at Arizona. I'm just looking here at the times because I want a good matchup tonight. Yeah. I really don't see one.
It's Notre Dame.
Notre Dame. That's 7:30. That's good enough.
That's a good matchup.
That's good enough. Yeah. I mean that one will be on until 11 o'clock or later at least. So that'll be plenty for me. But just always like to see what those night games are.
Well, you can catch Arizona, New Mexico State, Wyoming, Arizona State, Weber State against Washington. If you.
What did you make of Florida State's loss last week to?
Wow, I mean,
Georgia Tech.
A little surprised, but tells you how far Georgia Tech football has come.
Yeah, some about both, right?
Yeah.
Tells you a little about both.
I just didn't think it was a real big upset. I thought
I
thought Georgia Tech was capable of beating them.
Mm-hmm.
Yep,
and they did.
They sure did. 24-21 in that one. On this week on Thursday, Mike's Missouri Tigers shut out Murray State 51-0. Get it done.
Sooners have to play them in a conference game.
What's the coach's name you love so? Drinkwaters, what you call him? Drinkwits?
Please don't drink the water. Eli, please don't drink the water.
28 points in the first quarter. They rolled. This team is ranked pretty high.
Yeah.
Number 11. And last year, they had a heck of a year last year. So, making a name. It's good to see somebody there, in the Midwest that's not named Michigan or Ohio State, winning some football games. Utah, 49-0 over Southern Utah. Do either one of you have Utah in the playoffs? Don't answer that.
Oh, I just told you a minute ago.
Okay.
I got them.
Well, I think a lot of people picking them in their first season to win the Big 12.
How about that?
Yeah,
that gets them in.
I did. Well, I did my first 4 as the 4 major conference champions because they'll all get buys in the first round.
I didn't even think about doing that.
So I've got Utah and
I just went with who I thought would be the best as the top 4. But you're right.
I don't have Utah in the first round, so it tells you something.
I didn't really seed them anyway. I just kind of went with.
I didn't really seed them either, but I did put my first 4 as the 4 conference champions.
I just kind of I didn't seed them like it has to be seeded by champions. I just put them.
And then I put number
in the order I
12
thought
as
they
that.
would be
Number
ranked
12
in
I
my
put
head.
as that mid-major.
Does a
whatever
group
you wanna
a
call
group
it.
of 5 has to get in? Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I had one. I put mine as 12.
I may not have one of those in there. I might just have to put Linwood in. See it since I saw them on here. Linwood, Kansas beat Linwood 48-3. That's a bad sign for Linwood. Western Carolina loses to NC State, but not before making it very competitive. That was also on Thursday, 38-21.
It's a win-win for us.
Friday night, Mike Powell's Sooners 51-3 over Temple.
Mm-hmm.
That upsets Bill Cosby.
Oh yeah.
Not too many people worried about that.
And who was the basketball coach? John
Chaney.
Chaney. He didn't like it either.
Yeah, he still wants to kill.
He still wants to kill
Calipari. Southern Cal, LSU, the battle of the initials. Southern Cal and LSU.
It's being played in Vegas, though. Am I correct?
And that's on Sunday. I didn't realize that was a Sunday game.
That's your Vegas game.
I can't wait. Now that's going to be that's must see TV. I think
it is.
You guys know I like me some LSU. Taking on
Southern
Cal,
those two
Trojans.
teams lost the top 2 picks in the draft, the 2 quarterbacks.
Wow.
So it's big shoes to fill.
Yeah, they were the first 2 taken.
Yeah.
Right? First 2 taken. And both are going to start.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In the NFL on in about a week and a day.
Brett, being a Washington fan, I wonder how he feels about that, going with the rookie.
Oh, I like it.
Absolutely.
I like the player. And
there's a lot of talk that he would have been. He should have been the first.
He's
pick.
Their best option. I mean,
he's a lot of talk that he's going to be better than Williams. So we'll see.
And
you can predict anything.
An older kid.
Only time will tell.
He's in college a long time.
But he's another RG3. Runs the ball a lot. Vulnerable.
Yeah.
Hopefully he's just a little
fragile.
more cautious and knows how to avoid the hits.
Right.
Boston College and Florida State Monday night at 7:30. So we got a Sunday night and a Monday night college football game. What's the chances? I want to see the line here. Florida State's favored by 17 against Boston College after coming off that loss.
I bet it's closer than that.
Do you? That was my first thought, but then again, it's hard to say. I mean, maybe they've had that build up inside them all week, and just ready to explode on the scene. And I really don't know much about BC. And I mean, they used to have a good program back in the day. What was the coach that coached the Giants? Tom
Coughlin.
Yeah, Coughlin
had a good program at Boston College. Brett couldn't stand to see them coming because they beat Notre Dame.
It was
one
a good
out of every
rivalry.
3 years. They seemed to knock off Notre Dame. Let's see. See if you can guess who this is. It looks like Mac Brown and UNC will be following the Iowa offensive playbook after no longer having Sam Howell and Drake May. Who would have said that? It has to be somebody that's a Carolina fan because nobody else would even.
No, not at all.
I didn't even know that information. It's Jason. He also says that Florida State playing the rare Week 1 must-win game. Yes, they are. I mean, I think Florida State can still make the playoffs. And I don't think they have to run the table. Yeah. But they're going to have to win a lot of games.
I think they got to win the conference.
It might be. And you can win the conference without running the table. So only time will tell. Let's see. Hook says not only did Duke coach leave to go to Texas A&M, but he'll be playing against his former quarterback at Notre Dame, Riley Leonard, I'm sorry. He put Leonard. I just read it wrong. Riley Leonard. Mm-hmm. That should be a good game. His former quarterback. So let's see.
How many times now has Notre Dame, it's sort of in the ACC, but not really, they pick former ACC quarterbacks to lead them? Is that
Wake Forest was his name?
Sam
Hartman.
Anybody before that? And now we got Riley Leonard.
One of you guys get ready for lyrics. I'm going to read a couple more texts, and we'll let you guys go with your lyrics. Ned says, still at the alma mater of Dwight Clark and Grady Garinger. lost at Hopewell last night 54-0, 29th straight loss. Think your high school has it rough. Last win was at Berry Academy. Second game of the 21 season. Tough job for a PA person, as last home win was August 24th, 2018. Geringer's last home win was in 2018. That is kind of rare. Don Revels says, for your information, LSU has lost its first game of the season in the last 4 years. Yeah. How about that? The opponents, I'm sure, have been pretty hefty opponents. That's why I like what we're getting ready to get into, because in the past, if you lose your first game of the year, you just about
it really hurt.
Trashed
really
your
hurt
national championship chances. Now it's going to be you can survive a loss and get in it. Because to me, it still should always be like the NFL. Who's playing the best at the end when, who's playing their best football? Because you work to get better each and every week. College football has always been, if you're not as good as you're going to get in week one, you're out of here, So at least now,
that's right.
A little better system to get some of the teams in. Like you guys said earlier, 3 losses, you could see a team in with 3 losses somewhere down the road. Whose lyrics we're going with?
I'm ready.
Go for it.
It must be getting early. Clocks are running late. Paint by numbers, morning sky looks so phony.
Back in a moment.
Getting the kids to practice on time. Remembering if it's your day to bring snacks. Making it to the game with a clean jersey. Why are simple things sometimes so complicated? Thankfully, with Auto Owners, insurance doesn't have to be one of them. Auto Owners works with independent agents who answer when you call, so you can worry about more important things, like whether your kid is going to run toward first or third base. That's simple human sense.
Call Mooney Insurance in Maiden or East Lincoln Insurance in Denver, or visit MooneyInsurance.com.
Rhodes and Bill Oil Company in Lincoln has been serving the Piedmont of North and South Carolina since 1919. Sure, they deliver to your home with home heating oils. They'll help keep you warm, but they do a whole lot more. They feature bulk fuel delivery, on-site and commercial fueling, backup generator fueling, and farm and agricultural fueling. For home or business or farms, call on Rhodes and Bill Oil Company in Lincoln, 704-735-2508. Online at rhodesandbill.com, located at 1404 East Main Street in Lincoln. Like them on Facebook too.
For where 2 or 3 have gathered together in my name, I am there in their midst. Matthew 18:20. You are invited to gather with us at Rhine Heights United Methodist Church, located at 520 Madison Street, just up from Betty Ross Park. Sunday school meets at 10, and worship follows at 11 every Sunday. Follow us on Facebook for special service announcements. Join us Sunday at Rhine Heights United Methodist Church.
Buying a Bobcat is now easier than ever at West End Sales in Vail. Now get 0% APR financing. That means low monthly payments. Or you can get $1,200 instant rebates on selected models. Now is the time to buy. Like we said, it's easier than ever. Again, get 0% APR financing or get $1,200 instant rebate on selected Bobcat models at West End Sales at the Highway 1827 West intersection in Vail. Online at westendsales.com and like them on Facebook too.
Western Steer Family Steakhouse in Newton has the best food around. Their buffet is like no other. Fried chicken, meatloaf, baked chicken, beef tips with peppers and onions, pintos and macaroni cheese, green beans, yams, and the best salad bar around. Hours of business Sunday, Wednesday, and Thursday, 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. Fridays and Saturdays, 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. Western Steer Family Steakhouse, 334 Southwest Boulevard, Newton. Call for takeouts at 704-325-3926. Like them on Facebook.
The game is about to start.
What the?
You finally put the kids to sleep.
Sweet dreams. No, the battery.
Your dinner guests will be here in 5 minutes.
Not now. Oh.
Mr. Sparky electricians are around the corner and ready to help. Call Mr. Sparky today for any electrical need.
You don't have to put up with any malarkey. Call 888-8-SPARKY.
Zeus Auto Repair and Performance at 1122 South Aspen Street in Lincoln now have 4 North Carolina licensed state inspectors on site. Need automotive work? They are the best. Oil changes, brakes, car detailing, and suspension work. You'll be in and out before you know it. Stop in and see the guys at Zeus Auto Repair and Performance at 1122 South Aspen Street in Lincoln. Hours of business, Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Call 704-240-3061. Zeus Auto Repair and Performance.
Notary services available on site as well.
Welcome back. Brett, I was just looking at my screensaver. I got these things that pop up in just different places in the world, and you'd really like this one. It's like a winter village in Germany.
Yeah.
Snow on the ground. It's really neat. Really neat looking. I know you like that kind of thing. Although you don't like winter, you do like Germany.
I think I do.
You think you do, yeah. You think you do. Going through the, we've been talking about college football some this morning. We're going to give our 12 playoff teams and our Final Four, and I guess our eventual national champion as we break down the rest of the show this morning. But go ahead and read those lyrics again, Brett, because I figured them out. Mike, after my hint, figured them out as well, and we also had somebody else that figured them out.
It must be getting early. Clocks are running late.
Mm-hmm.
Paint by numbers, morning sky looks so phony.
And that would be the Grateful Dead, Touch of Grey.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Rodney Willis got Grateful Dead, Touch of Grey. Took me a couple minutes. I got the group quick, but I had to think of the title of the song.
When I gave y'all a hint.
Yeah, good lead in to
off. I think I gave the hint off the air. I didn't say it on the air.
No, you didn't. You didn't. The Touch of Grey is in Gray Ponder and his big night last night running the football. I like that.
Yeah, more than a touch.
Yeah, more than a touch. That's for sure. You got a whole helping.
How about more than a feeling
of Gray? That would be Boston, but you're not gonna get too many Boston songs past me.
No,
one of my favorite groups I grew up on, for sure. High school football. Let's go through what we got and bear in mind a lot of these are not complete. And if we know it's complete, we'll tell you. But the problem for us, given the scores this morning, you look on the Max Preps scoreboard. I was just thinking about something that hit me. Steve K sent me a message last week I couldn't tell if he was complaining.
Yeah, he was complaining
about
He was,
us not having a score of North Gaston and East Gaston on the air last week.
He told me last night.
Or he also criticized us for not discussing the Lincoln and South Point game.
Well, on the Gaston County game, if it's not on Max Preps, I don't even know the game existed. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So it's got to be on Max Preps.
He told me we didn't mention Lincoln and South Point. But I know we talked about it.
Yeah.
He must have just missed those couple minutes.
Hook says, anyone know how many yards Wingate had last night for North Lincoln? Mike had him with about 175 roughly.
Yeah. It's about
in that range,
yeah.
175.
I got to go back through it and make sure everything is.
Yep.
Too many.
Yeah.
Yep, a lot of yards for Wingate. And, I told Mike, I said, most of these games he's going to – I mean, I can't see a game that he don't get 100. I mean, even against Hickory and Statesville,
I think he could
and
get
East
100.
Lincoln, some of those really good – I still think he's going to get 100.
Yeah,
the only problem would
nobody's going to shut him down.
No, the only problem would be if they get behind real quick in a game like it was to Hickory or something. They might. I can't see them throwing the ball. Still, they're not going to throw the ball 15 times, even if they're behind, right? But yeah, I could see him easily going over 100 every single game this year that they play, and 200 in a lot of them.
Yeah,
200. He's already had one 200-yard game.
Well,
so I can see that happening again.
They also had a pretty big night last night from the outside threat in that offense. Landon Agee, I had him 7 carries for 82 yards.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a good average.
Yeah,
definitely a good average there. There's something we need to take into consideration. I don't know if it'll matter or not, but Butch says he will not be attending breakfast with us this morning.
No.
Don't want to deal with the Labor Day crowds.
What?
So think about that.
Labor Day crowds.
Yeah. I'll take my chances, I think. See how it goes. We won't mention where we're going, but because we don't want anybody to show up and ask us questions.
Don't you think? I would think East Lincoln, I would picture being the best prepared team to slowing down North Lincoln's offense.
Yeah.
Because they see them all the time.
Yeah, well, and they've usually got – East Lincoln's usually got a strong defensive line, good linebackers, and with that being a heated rivalry, I could just see in that game being one of North Lincoln's lower scoring games.
Yeah, and even though they gave up a lot of points last week to Kramer,
right.
Mike said it was mainly throwing the ball.
3 touchdown passes.
Yeah, that the quarterback was – he threw for how many yards?
About 250.
Yeah. So, yeah. So you think about that, it wasn't the running game that was giving them the problems. So, I don't know. That's a long way down the road.
Oh, yeah.
Long way down the road. So, we got we don't have to figure that one out.
And I don't even know – I don't know how good East Lincoln is this year, but I know this is one of North Lincoln's best teams that I've seen. Yeah. I don't know if it's as good as that one that lost to Burns in the playoffs about 5 or 6 years ago.
That was a great game, by the way, overtime game.
But this team's close to that one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, offensively they have.
And it's senior led.
Yeah,
we're talking about 26 seniors that most of them,
it's like
play.
all but the main 2 ball carriers are seniors.
Yeah. Well, they have that inside-outside with Wingate, and then you got Landon Agee, the sophomore.
Wingate's not a senior?
Junior.
No, he's a junior.
Okay, I couldn't remember. Yeah. Yep. And they got a veteran quarterback, and they've got people like Bassani on that defense, and you got people like those wings. I mean, those wings don't get enough credit for North Lincoln. They're good. They're really good players.
Tim Folk.
Yep.
And they got a lot of weapons.
They do. I mean, anytime those wings get the ball, it's going to be 6-8 yards or more, because they kind of surprise you with them,
Yep.
Pound it up the middle, and then the wing gets the ball on the pitch. And let's face it, Sipe does a good job of timing it and pitching.
Yeah, he does.
At the right time. Of course, he's been taught by one of the best at that offense in Basil. So
their offense seems a little further along than South Point's does at this point, which is surprising because South Point's usually rolling.
Yeah,
right
they are
from week
right
one.
off the bat.
now Hooks is a North Lincoln guy, and he says he thinks 2019 team was one of the best at North Lincoln. Now, is that 19 team? Is that the one
When they lost,
that lost to Burns?
Burns, probably
in
so.
overtime?
I said it was 5 or 6 years ago, so that timeline would
What
be
did
about
Burns
right.
do
That
the week
was,
after that? Do we know?
Lost to Shelby.
Did they? Well, that's,
Yeah, pretty bad.
That's
You remember they beat North in overtime.
can't even count that. Who don't lose to Shelby
Yeah.
or Reedsville at some point.
But I actually thought North would have matched up with Shelby pretty well that year, but it didn't.
Right.
Didn't get to happen. But
Were we there?
yeah.
Were we?
Yeah.
Okay. I figured I was at that game, but just couldn't recall.
Or was I?
Where were you? I don't know where you were that night. You might have been with us.
I don't know, but I did that North Lincoln game on the radio. So you must
With
have been
me?
the North Lincoln Burns game, yeah.
Yeah.
So you must have been out of town or something during that one.
He was suspended.
Yeah, I guess so.
But yeah, I think
He went to Western a couple times on different trips.
Yeah.
And that might have been. Remember that? You missed a
Yeah.
couple games because you went to Western to not homecoming, but it was, what was it? Alumni weekend. Yeah, alumni weekend.
Purple
something.
Passion and Gold. Yeah.
All that, yeah.
Yeah.
I think North Lincoln offensively is as good as anybody around here other than Hickory.
Yep, I agree.
And he said, yes, it was the team that played Burns.
North
And
Lincoln-
Burns had a good team that year. A really good quarterback and running, but wasn't it had a little running back? That
Yeah.
really good.
Was that Pryor? Was that his name? And Sweezy was the quarterback. North Lincoln South Point would be a great matchup. I'd like to see that happen in the playoffs.
The game would be over in an hour and a half.
Yeah.
This is great, man. I'll tell you, some people, David Avery coming through with a memory here.
So,
The night we were at that game, David says Mike was at the West Lincoln Shelby game that night.
oh, okay.
So you weren't at alumni.
No. Thank you,
weekend.
David.
You were at West
for,
Lincoln Shelby game
and
that particular
the
night.
misty past, not quite as clear as it once was. Thank you.
Well, here's what happened to me. My seasons run together.
Yeah.
You know, I couldn't even remember how far back that Burns and that was one of the better games I've ever seen in my life. For that overtime game with Burns and North Lincoln, it's just a really good game.
Yeah.
We watched a lot of playoff games last year, but I may mention one that was 3 years ago that I thought was last year. That's called getting a little older. Is what people tell me anyway. Looking for any kind of finals last night, and I'm just gonna
Well, aren't we going to go over them?
Yes, we are. We are.
Okay.
East Duplin loses last night. East Duplin a loser last night, 34-29 to West Craven. Clinton and Wallace Rosehill were to meet last night, but it doesn't have any score. I'm guessing it might have been weather related there. Clinton got hammered, didn't they, in week one?
Yeah.
The whole coaching
Yeah.
staff left, went to South Carolina, graduated a lot of good players.
I think 25 or more seniors last year.
Yep, and it showed. I'm guessing that Wallace Rosehill, I don't think they really played great week one either for some reason.
I've got a good list of just fairly local
Well, I'm going to let you do it.
games if you want to do
Because
that.
mine is a mess.
Watauga beat Avery 56-7. I think Maiden plays at Watauga next week. So
Yeah,
that's
they've been
that's
playing
an
Watauga,
interesting
and that's been good
matchup.
matchups. Yeah, that's
gonna
good
be a
matchup
good
for
one.
both teams.
Mountain Heritage beat Irwin 32-27. North Henderson 44, Rosman 0. North Buncombe 32, Owen 12. This has come from a Mountain.
And got to mention real quick,
page,
last
so
week
a lot of Mountain scores.
Rosman lost 2 football players in I think ATV accident.
I did not know that
No,
till last night.
I didn't know about that.
They sure did.
Terrible development.
Mitchell beat McDowell 34-24. Brevard lost to Knoxville Catholic 19-14.
And Brevard had a big win week one right, over Pisgah.
Yeah, blew Pisgah out, didn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Tuscola 21, Polk County 14. Freedom beat East Burke 12-7.
Yeah, saw some clips on that one on Friday Night Football.
I think that one was 12-7 pretty early, and then
well,
I don't think anybody scored in the second half.
Is it complete? Can you tell it's complete?
I think they played the full game.
Did they?
Yeah,
Okay.
I think so.
They call that Black Friday, Fat Friday.
Don't forget the new Freedom coach won a couple state championships at Mount Airy,
It was
and
Fat Friday.
now
last
back at
night
home.
at Freedom.
West Lincoln, we mentioned 52-0 over Cherryville. West Iredale 28, West Caldwell 19. That's good to see West Caldwell being competitive. Yeah. Bunker Hill 48, St. Stephen 7.
Don't count those Bears out yet, guys, even though they lost a ton.
They're 2-0, Mike. Who's going to count them out?
Well, I'm just saying, everybody was thinking, well.
I know, they lost a lot of talent.
Yeah, I don't think anybody around here
back.
is picking them to win the conference, but they've got to be one of the front runners.
Well, I think beating Freedom is a bigger win. You know, they were down 2 touchdowns in that game.
Yeah.
I think that's a big win.
And they got Jason Willis, maybe probably the best back in the CVAC.
Ken, to you, Rodney?
West Henderson 35, Hendersonville 19. This was a good game. T.C. Roberson beat East Rutherford 40-32.
It is a good one.
That game, I think, was 26-all at halftime.
And T.C. Roberson's pretty good, which tells me that East Rutherford, their program is really on its way back up.
Yeah, they're not going to be a push.
And that's going to be North Lincoln's next opponent, East
is.
Rutherford. Do they have a week off and then play
Yes.
East
That's right.
Rutherford?
That's
Mm-hmm.
right.
Let's see. There's a few more here. Hickory, we said Hickory 34, Newton Conover 0. That game, I think, was still in the first half when they called it.
But they have called it a final.
Yeah, they decided not to go back and
I
finish
wouldn't.
that game.
And no need to put the Newton players through that.
Yeah. Pisgah beat Inca 49-14. Let's see.
Pisgah won?
Yeah.
That much, 49-14. That makes, to me, I know Inca is not the powerhouse. At one time they were pretty good and they were 3A. They might still be 3A. But that makes, to me, that makes the Brevard win over Pisgah look even better, right? Week 1?
Yeah. Alexander Central 54, Wilkes Central 14. South Caldwell beat RS Central 46-14. That kind of surprised me. I thought RS Central, didn't they have a pretty good win last week?
They did win, but I can't remember.
Yeah, I don't know who they beat. I think it might have been McDowell. Bandy's beat Fred T. Ford 38-12. And then the rest of these are postponements and cancellations. It says High Brighton Hunter Huss was canceled and will not be made up.
Really?
That's what this says.
Okay.
Chase and Stuart Kramer postponed to 9-3, September 3rd. That is Tuesday.
That's right.
Yeah.
Tuesday.
Forest View and East Lincoln postponed to September 13th. We said that one.
Well, they both
earlier.
had open dates.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that means they won't get their break before they start conference play.
No. Good day. Welcome in Hickory.
AC Reynolds was leading Shelby 27-14 in the second quarter, and it's postponed and does not have a day and time yet.
That's a game that we were 10-0 on in the Pick'ems.
Thank goodness.
All 10 for Shelby, and they're down 2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
That one of them's at 5 o'clock today, and the other Cleveland County team is Monday. I can't remember what Calvin told me. Shelby. One of them plays at 5.
So, okay, in Cleveland County, one's at 5 today, and the other is 7 on Monday. We just don't know which is which.
And, well, one of those is Burns and Crest. Well, they were playing each other. I don't know.
Yeah, Burns and Crest.
And then Kings Mountain was playing too, and I don't have their score either. They were playing. Who were they playing?
That's a good question.
Yeah. Anyway.
I'll find it. You go ahead if you got any more.
The last one I got here, Statesville was leading Lake Norman 14-7 in the first, and it was postponed, and it does not have a time. Yeah, somebody did comment here. AC Reynolds and Shelby will resume at 5 o'clock today.
What time we leaving? That could include barbecue. Think about it.
Yeah, so ones I didn't see were Crest and Burns. I don't know what the score. I don't know if they played any.
Oh, they did. Crest was up 2 touchdowns. I think Burns was up early 7-6, but then Crest was up like I want to say something like 27-14 or something like that. That was the last score I saw. Crest was leading in that game at home. Last night.
So about all those scores were west of here.
Yeah, this don't even have Myers Park and Huff playing in Charlotte last night. 2 ranked teams.
Don't have. Here's one. Mount Airy beat East Surrey 28-7.
I see that one on my scoreboard as well.
How about Hickory Newton Connor? Was that a final?
No, it's halftime. Or wasn't even halftime yet, but it is a final.
Yeah.
It's going to be a final. Declared a final.
Reidsville beat Page 41-21.
That was fairly close when the first time.
And from what I heard, Deontay Neal has been playing quarterback for Reidsville.
Really? So what happened to
that's what I heard.
Cummings transfer?
I don't think he was. He must not have been their best option at quarterback.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
He plays. I think he plays receiver and safety.
Okay. Yep. I'm looking here at that Freedom win. Low-scoring Freedom win last night over East Burke, 12-7, one Brett mentioned a little earlier.
Kings Mountain was playing Cox Mill, but it does not have a score.
Maybe they didn't even get to play at all.
Here's the one: Asheville Christian Academy 39, Thomas Jefferson 34.
Forest Hills beat North Rowan 33-8. It says final. I just don't know for sure if those games are final.
Well, some of them, I would say if some of them were in the second half and weren't close, they're going to be declared finals, no matter what.
And then there's several listed for today. It says Bessemer City 8, North Gaston 7 at halftime.
I think I'd go back and play that one.
Yeah. You need to.
Yeah, that
if
one.
I was North Gaston, anyway.
That one is on Max Prep schedule for today, so hopefully that one's going to be finished.
Right.
But then, see, you don't know whether to trust this or not. It's got AC Reynolds 58, Shelby 7. So I don't know who.
Wow.
Who put
we
that
know
in,
that's not right because Shelby
not.
already had double digits.
That's why I say you can't trust everything on Max Preps. Butler and Richmond Senior, 6 o'clock tonight.
And one thing we're not even talking about, the threat of rain's going to be there even more so, I think, today.
Yeah.
So
it says Independence and Hickory Ridge.
I know you got the heat out there to deal with, but I'm not sure I'd wait till 7 o'clock to start my game because that's getting in prime time of thunderstorm time. You know what I mean? Before we take our next time out, did we ever give your lyrics?
Yeah.
And we told who it was?
Pretty sure you did.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you
All
said
right.
it.
Just making sure. I have some messages, some text here to read real quick. Hook says Statesville versus Lake Norman will resume Monday at 6. Ned says remember that West Lincoln Shelby game. It was good and cold, and West Lincoln probably had twice as many fans as Shelby. Anybody that visits Shelby
has more fans than Shelby.
Yeah. I hate it for those kids, but they just don't get the support over there that they deserve from their home fans, and it's called being spoiled. They expect to be in the finals every year.
Well, really,
and it cuts down on the crowds.
Once Shelby gets deep in the playoffs and they're playing at home, you get fans, just fans of general interest like us, or
you'll see
other
people
coaches,
there from other schools.
Yeah, other schools, coaches.
Yep.
Yeah, and that's who fills it up.
Monty says, good morning, STG. I don't know if that means he just
STG.
got up, but at 9:22. But I'm not even going to mention the rest of his Go Yankees mess that he's put on there. Kings Mountain leading Cox Mill 14-7, says Jason. 14-7. Crest is up on Burns 26-14 in those two high school games right there. that will be resumed. You know that Cleveland County game is not going to end. They're going to Burns is going to do everything they can to try and come back and win that game. So only time will tell. Lyrics time is coming from
me.
Yep.
Yeah. Okie dokie. Here we go. Don't want to discuss it. Think it's time for a change. You may get disgusted, start thinking I'm strange.
Back in a moment.
If you ask around, you'll find Burke Mortuary has a reputation for excellence and commitment to value. They've built a reputation of trust for more than 35 years. Burke Mortuary is proud to offer personal attention, meaningful tributes, and the area's most affordable prices. They're also proud to offer you beautiful, state-of-the-art facilities. It's the perfect place to honor your loved one. So when choosing a funeral home, the choice is easy. Choose Burke Mortuary with locations in Maiden and Newton.
Sooner or later, everyone wants to make their home dreams a reality. I'm sure you've seen the television shows and flip through magazines and you know what you want. Or then again, maybe you're not sure. You know that you want something different and something better. Get started today by contacting the building professionals at Key Builders in Lincoln. Visit the website at keybuildersnc.com and check out their many floor plans. There's one there for you and your family. Key Builders, locally owned and operated at 1459 North Aspen Street in Lincoln. See their page at whatsupshopper.com and like them on Facebook too.
Lake Electric Company was founded in 1984. They are licensed in North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, and Virginia. Safety and quality is first in everything they do. For all your electrical needs, serving Lincoln County, Catawba County, Burke County, Mecklenburg County, and all the surrounding counties. When it has to be done right, call Lake Electric. Let them take care of your family. Lake Electric Company, 4362 Providence Mill Road, Maiden. Call 704-483-4000. Online at lakeelectric.com.
Stop by Lowe's Home Improvement in Lincolnton for their great deals on items you use around the house. Need to update around the kitchen? Then shop a great selection of appliances and some up to 30% off retail prices. Buy Craftsman's 20-volt max battery and get your choice of matching Craftsman cordless tool free. Update your workshop area with a wide selection of shop tools, only $99 each. But hurry, these deals won't last long. Shop Lowe's in Lincolnton for the things you want to buy today.
Century Drug in Boger City is the first pharmacy in the area to offer peace of mind for you, your caregivers, and for your family with a convenient poly pouch, strip pouch system, just like the one you've seen on TV. No more sorting through and keeping up with your multiple bottles of medication. No more filling daily reminder boxes. No more calling in meds and worrying about refills. You'll receive all your medications once a month in a box that dispenses a convenient, easy-to-open strip pouch that is perfectly labeled for breakfast, lunch, bedtime, etc. Century will be the link between you and your doctor to assure you that your medication profile is up to date and refillable. In other words, Century Drug will do all the work. You just take your medications and be healthy and happy. Call or come by for a visit today. 704-735-2551. Century Drug, East Main Street in Lincolnton.
Welcome back. Glad to have you with us. Fourth quarter coming up here. Thanks to all the messages coming in. In just a few minutes, we're going to get Sullivan's top 12 college football teams.
What you got,
because
Sullivan?
they'll probably be better than mine as we move forward this morning. Hooks has got Mike's lyrics, the artist, and the song title.
I thought I had it.
Scott Cloninger says, I don't like all these people canceling these games. How is it going to affect the playoff standings and rankings? That's the only reason I could see that the state says, hey, you have to play because everybody's got to play their
it's only 10
games.
games now.
Yeah.
That's right. Only 10 games.
Yep.
I hate it for the kids that only get to play 9.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, I don't know. What do? You have to play it on a weeknight.
And
I mean,
nobody wants
unless
that.
you have just like it worked out for East Lincoln and Forest View.
Mm-hmm.
Not Forest View. Is that who they're playing?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, Forest View.
Okay, East Lincoln and Forest View. It worked out that they got the same open week.
Mm-hmm.
That's not going to happen with everybody.
Who's their third non-conference game? Who else do they play?
Who?
You know? East Lincoln? Who do they play next?
Lincoln.
That's right.
Yeah, that's
Lincoln
non-conference.
I thought you were joking with me there. Yeah, just Lincoln. That's their.
That's right.
Yeah, it is odd that the 4 Lincoln counties aren't in the same conference anymore.
I'm already thinking about who I'm going to go see the week that Lincoln's off. And so East Lincoln won't be playing. Yeah, they'll be playing Forest View that night.
Mike and I may be at East Rutherford that night.
At East Rutherford? Yeah, probably not going that far.
It'll be a pretty good game, though, is the way it's shaping up, North Lincoln and East Rutherford.
I wish that Bunker Hill Randleman was going to be that night, but it's next week. I think that'll be good.
Didn't even know they were playing each other. Mike, give your lyrics one more time here for the folks that might want to guess one more time. It's already...
Don't want to discuss it, think it's time for a change. You may get disgusted, start thinking I'm strange. In that case, I'll go underground, get some heavy rest, never have to worry about what is worse or what is best.
We're going to single out Hooks this morning. He is the only one that has answered.
Well, I'm impressed.
He's the only one that has answered Van Morrison with Domino.
Domino.
Van Morrison's Domino. And once he said it, I could hear it in my head then.
Oh, yeah.
Van Morrison's voice is so unique, it's hard to tell what he's saying in some of his songs.
Irish, of course.
Yep. And you know what? I thought he was dead 20 years ago.
Well, he's still
some
putting
reason,
out albums.
he's still out there.
Yeah.
He's still kicking.
Yeah.
Got a couple things here. I want to double check Marty because I got the yardstick last night. I'm going to check him on this. Gray Ponder last night played 3 quarters and had 6 rushing touchdowns. I think he tied a record that was held by Devin Travis and Mac George for the 6 touchdowns in a game. Let's see. He has him with 310 yards in that game last night. And I was just, I know that Markley sent me the yardstick, Coach Markley, as he does each and every week, which I really appreciate. This is the West Lincoln stat box for the week. And he has, same thing, 310. 310 on the night.
That's getting up there. I know. Trying to think of the 300-yard rushing games by previous West Lincoln backs. Did Mason Avery ever hit? He hit the 300-yard mark.
I don't remember exactly what his highest total was. Let me know on that, David, if you're still tuned in there.
The one I remember.
He broke some county records.
You go way back in the 80s. I remember Clay Leatherman getting about 275 against East Lincoln one night.
And nothing. I ain't taking anything away from him. But I remember when that number used to be big.
Yeah, that was monstrous.
It was, for one guy. And then you look at things like, and I hate the way this one wound up, but it was Northern Guilford, right? We were at the state championship and they were playing Catholic.
Yeah.
And they were beating Catholic bad. I mean, they were up like 30 in the fourth quarter. Put TJ Logan back in the game to run a fake punt. And that's just not the way to get a record for me. Finished with 510 rushing yards because he ran that fake punt 70 yards.
And 8 touchdowns, I think he had.
Yeah. Wow. In a state championship game, he had 510 yards.
God.
And, but
That's as bad as I've seen Catholic get beat.
Yeah.
They just
But to put a guy in,
no, I don't like the record that way.
yeah, just to try and get a record. I mean, in the course of a game, and if it's close and all that, it's different. But I don't know. That's just my opinion. Just my opinion. So,
that was a time
I wasn't the only one.
The game was a blowout.
Yeah,
Northern
it
Guilford was on a roll for a few years there, and now they haven't been heard of since.
That might have scored their 70th point.
It might have been.
They scored. They won like 70-30 something maybe in that particular game.
Nothing about that smacks of.
I went first with lyrics. Who's going first with their final 12? Mike Powell.
Okay.
You haven't went first in anything in a while.
Well, we're going to just give each person give their whole
just run yours down.
list.
Just run yours down, and start with the top because the bottom is going to be more dramatic than the top because everybody.
Well, I did it.
We're all going to have the same teams.
I started, with the first round games and the quarterfinals, then the semis and the championship. So I did mine. Ready?
Yep, go.
I got number 12 Boise State at number 5 Oregon. Oregon winning that one. Number 11 Missouri at number 2 Texas. Texas winning. Number 10 Penn State at number 7 Bama. Bama winning. Number 9 Ole Miss at number 8 Notre Dame. Brett, you'll like this one. The Irish surviving.
Who were they playing?
Ole Miss.
Number 9 Ole Miss.
Okay.
Moving to the quarterfinals, number 5 Oregon versus Virginia Tech, number 4, the ACC winner. That goes to Oregon. They advance. Number 6, I got Texas versus Utah.
He thinks.
Yeah. With Texas winning. Then I got Bama versus Georgia, big SEC matchup. Georgia winning. Then I got Notre Dame versus number 1 Ohio State, and that's where the Irish fall. Ohio State advancing. Semifinals, Ohio State versus Oregon. The Buckeyes move on. And Georgia versus Texas. Georgia moves on. Championship, Buckeyes versus the Junkyard Dogs of Georgia. And Ohio State saving, what's the coach's name? Ron Day's job.
Well, they got Harbaugh out of the way now.
They got Harbaugh out of the way.
Got Harbaugh out of the way, the one he couldn't beat.
And they spent $20 million, did they not?
To buy out Harbaugh?
No, they spent $20 million in their collective to get.
Did they?
To get people.
Okay.
To get the players.
The rich are going to get richer, and the poor are going to fall.
So you're picking Ohio State.
I'm picking Ohio State over Georgia in the championship.
Go ahead.
I've got the same championship, but I've got Georgia winning it. My 12 teams, starting with the conference champions, I got Ohio State, Georgia, Utah, and Miami.
Oh, Miami.
I think the ACC's wide open. Obviously, Mike picked Virginia Tech.
Somebody's got to win.
So it's wide open.
Yeah, it is. Wow. Virginia Tech and Miami in the playoffs in the first year. Only one probably, but those two anyway.
Yeah.
And
if
then
either.
At my non-Power 5, I picked Liberty to be that 12th seed.
I don't even have a non-Power 5 because I forgot about that part.
So
then my other, I guess, at-large teams: Oregon, Texas, Notre Dame, Michigan, Ole Miss, Alabama, and Central Florida. Semifinals, same as Mike. I got Ohio State and Oregon, and in another game I got Georgia and Utah. Georgia and Ohio State meeting in the national championship, and Georgia winning the national championship.
It's unbelievable that we all three have the same two teams in the championship. And I'm going to break that tie. Didn't you guys pick Georgia and Ohio State, one of each?
Yeah, one of each.
One of each.
Yep, I went Ohio State to win that national title.
All right.
And the biggest reason is Harbaugh is gone.
Yeah.
Harbaugh is gone. That's the one that Ryan Day could not beat. I did not do mine the exact same way you guys did, so I'm going to give you my rankings from 12 to 1. Number 12, Tennessee. Number 11, Florida State. Number 10, Utah. Number 9, Penn State. Number 8, Clemson. Number 7, Alabama. 6, Michigan. 5, Notre Dame. Your 4 teams with byes would be number 4, Texas. Number 3, Oregon. Number 2, Georgia. And number 1, Ohio State. Ohio State beating Texas and Georgia beating Oregon, and then Ohio State winning the national title. They've been knocking on the door, guys.
Tell me who your 3 and 4 were again.
Number 3,
yeah,
Oregon. And 4, Texas.
Okay.
I said them too fast, didn't I? For you.
Yeah, I'm trying to write them down on this sheet here. 5 was Notre Dame. Is that what you said?
Yes.
Okay.
If you guys could add one team was there one team maybe that you would like to have got in there, but there was just no room?
Mm-hmm.
Who could play the dark horse and get in there?
Well, my last spot came down to LSU and Central Florida. And I just see LSU losing maybe 3 games.
Their
I can see
so
Central
brutal.
Florida.
Well, like Don Revels said,
I can
it's
see
almost
Central
a given
Florida
they'll lose
going
the opener.
11-1. I think they're going to be good in the now that they're in the Big 12. They got a really good quarterback who was a transfer from Arkansas, I think, and that's kind of my surprise team.
You know what
With them and Miami. I didn't know who to pick to win the ACC.
Well, here's what I hope. I hope none of us have it right.
I know.
You know, I mean, it's more fun if it's, the unknown, and not so predictable. Because college football is probably the most predictable sport.
Oh, by far.
Second only to one other one, high school football.
Yeah. Just throw in the usual.
Yeah, that's right. Usual suspects. I'm going to guess Reidsville's probably going to be in that state championship. Look for Weddington in there, playing in the state championship game. Now, might be a little tougher next year when we have 8 games to decide.
Yeah.
But definitely looking forward to that as well.
I was just trying to come up with which teams we all have
in the just in the 16,
in the 12.
I mean, in the 12. I'm already ready to go to 16. I guess that'll be next year.
That'll be 2
and
years down
Mike didn't have Michigan, right? You don't have Michigan in yours.
I do not have Michigan. No.
And you don't have Ole Miss in yours.
I do not.
But me and Mike do.
Mm-hmm.
SEC's a gauntlet. Somebody's got to lose some games.
Yeah.
So there's only 7 that we all have in common: Ohio State, Georgia, Utah, Oregon, Texas, Notre Dame, Alabama.
And, of course, they're the higher ones, which
we
that
all
would
have
make
those.
sense.
The different ones, I have Miami, Michigan, Ole Miss, Central Florida, and Liberty. And you didn't pick a non-Power 5, so you've got Michigan, Clemson, Penn State, Florida State, and Tennessee. And then Mike has Virginia Tech, Ole Miss, Penn State, Missouri, and Boise State.
I did pick a non-Power 5. I just thought about it. Notre Dame. They're not in a Power 5 conference.
No,
okay, well, it's a
that's cheating, right?
Group of, what do they call it? The group of whatever champion. A conference champion from a non-Power 5.
Right. I'm going to read a couple things. Hooks, if you're going to give me the field, I will take this bet. I have to take this bet if you're going to give me the field. Who do you think Hooks picks to win the ACC? It's taking you too long. You're doing too much thinking.
Who are you talking to?
Clemson.
Yeah.
Well, I told you Miami.
I said, who do you think Hooks picked to win the ACC?
Oh, I don't know.
I'm saying Clemson.
They're 1-0.
Georgia Tech.
They're 1-0. It's not Georgia Tech.
NC State?
Yes.
Oh.
NC State, who was challenged by Western for 3 quarters, right?
Yes, they were.
Not sure. I'll take that. If you're going to give me the field, I will take that. Lenny says you want to test yourself with the good non-conference opponents and play regional competition and even out-of-state teams, but that becomes a problem to make up. We're talking about high school here. That becomes a problem to make up whenever you have weather issues like last night. Examples: Cardinal, Gibbons, and Mallard Creek. That is a long ride.
Yeah.
That is a long ride. And there were some others in there. Who was Cox Mill playing?
Kings Mountain.
Kings Mountain. That's a pretty good ride. Marty he's just picking at me here. Says he sometimes hangs out with Markley and Coach Ponder to do that yardstick on Friday nights. I want to know what bedtime is on those Friday nights after doing all the stats after completing a high school game, even if that game's on the road and getting back. They do their stats that night. So what time is bedtime? 3, 4?
3 or 4. Steve K time.
It's surprising that they even are able, like Marty, he's able to get up this morning and listen to some of the show. Ned says, AccuWeather for Shelby says 85 degrees with a real feel of 91 degrees at 5 p.m. Humidity 63%, which means hello thunderstorms. Here we come again. And just think if you're AC Rentals and you made that trip, now you're going to go back and you're going to make that trip again, and then you get there and there's thunderstorms again. Then what happens?
Yeah.
Then what happens? Is it just called a final? You know?
Yeah.
Because AC's up, right? 2 touchdowns
yeah.
on Shelby. They'd be happy with that, I guess. But Shelby maybe not so much. Did they not have that matchup last year?
I think they did.
They've been playing several years.
Yeah, that's what I thought. And AC's winning their share of them, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Hook says they will adjust after that not-so-good showing versus Western Carolina. Talking about the NC State Wolfpack. I don't know who will win the SEC. I mean the ACC or the SEC either for that matter, but State would be kind of down the list. Dave Doran's going 8-4. I don't think that wins the ACC. He's an 8-4 guy.
Should put up a monument out there.
8-4.
Carter Finley. 8-4.
8-4. Just like at Iowa, they broke a record by scoring 7 points in a game. They got that out there. Highest scoring game of the year, 7 points. We scored 7 on somebody. Do you think the North Lincoln game, a lot of lightning? This is coming from Scott, but it was heat lightning.
Yep.
It was never sky to ground lightning. Okay, that's over my head.
I don't know.
I don't have the capability of.
We need a meteorologist.
Yeah, it'd be my luck if I decided that that's just heat lightning. Somebody would get killed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If I didn't take them off the field or something like that. I never did hear. I never heard any thunder.
I knew.
So maybe
I never felt like it was a threat.
Yeah. But I guess.
But I was also surprised that they kept playing.
They just cannot take the chance
with lightning going pretty much nonstop the rest of the game. It's like nothing had really changed from when they decided to.
Do the rules change because it's getting late?
Yeah, it seemed like it.
I don't know how to answer that either.
They cleared the stadium because of lightning, and then nothing really changed.
Yeah.
And they let everybody back in and started back playing.
Well, the best thing is I haven't heard of any storm-related injuries in the state of North Carolina or anywhere for that matter from last night. I'm sure North Carolina was not the only state that had it. I'm guessing South Carolina had storms just like North Carolina did, but hadn't heard of anything that was weather-related injuries. Have you guys? I
haven't.
No.
And I don't know what you do. I don't know what their guidelines are. I've never read all that. I'm sure it's probably something that's out for the whole NCHSAA to go by, right? And every school has lightning detectors that tells you when.
And
it's
who was
within
in charge of clearing the stadium last night? I mean, who makes that decision?
I don't know.
Is it somebody in the press box, or is it the officials?
I think it'd be school officials, or is it just officials?
I mean, I know if the officials say clear the field, they clear the field.
I would think.
Question of the day right there.
But the officials don't say clear the stadium.
No.
Here's what I don't like. If you're going to evacuate, everybody should be in their car. It don't do you any good to get out of the stadium and stay outside on the soccer field or whatever field. It's the same field for soccer, but tennis courts. It don't do you any good if you're going to evacuate.
Wait a minute now. Joe Jack was out there at the 50
Joe Jack's got to get in a car. He's got to get in a car, a bus, or something. It's not doing any good to move 50 feet
and
still be outside.
Speaking of injuries,
So why are we even evacuating if they're not made to go and get in their vehicles? Now, somebody can answer that for me. I've got some messages.
Well, I would say
no. Wait a minute.
North Lincoln did their part. They told you to leave the stadium.
They told you to
and
leave.
what you do from there is on you.
No,
But guess what's going to happen, though? If it happens on their property, who's going to be in trouble?
They were
No,
told.
they shouldn't be.
You know, I agree with you.
The PA announcer did say go to your cars.
Listen, time's running out, and I've got messages that are rolling in here like crazy right now. I've got 6 new ones here. Wondering, did AC Reynolds and Shelby coaches stay to wash uniforms last night, or did both teams agree to wear their other uniforms home and away? I'm guessing they put the muddy ones back. I don't even guess they got muddy. And maybe they didn't even play long enough to break a sweat. Well, it didn't take long to break a sweat last night.
No.
It wouldn't have I broke a sweat, and I didn't play one down. Monty, at North Lincoln, the Lightning was closer than it looked closer than it was. I understand the delay also, says Monty. Going up to Scott, and I'm in Shelby right now. Do you want me to get us a table at Bridges for tonight's games? Absolutely. I'll be ready. I hate it's on the first big day of college football.
Count me out.
Count me out on that.
Let's see. Butch says the home athletic director makes that decision. The home athletic director. Hope he's not on vacation that week. Carolina Varsity, this comes from Hooks. Carolina Varsity has a good interview with Coach Basil after last night's game. I might check that out a little later on the weekend. And David Avery reiterates, Butch, game day administrator. The game day administrator is the one. 10 miles and under, you have to suspend play, David says. 10 miles and under, you have to suspend play and get off that field. But there again, let me ask you this, David, Scott, Butch, people that have been in administration. If the people won't go get in their car and something happens, who is held responsible for that? You tell them to leave, but can law enforcement force them to get in their cars? I guess law enforcement can, but who tells law enforcement to do that? Do they have to be told to do that? Law enforcement at the game I was at last night was on the field during the lightning delay. Not only that, like you mentioned earlier, Joe Jack was having a dance party on the 50-yard line during that. I mean, I'm not one to say, but if I feel threatened by a storm, I'm getting out of it. I'm getting out. I'm going inside somewhere. He said there's no law. That's not a law enforcement issue, is what Hooks says, and Hooks would know. David said, you suggest that they seek shelter, but you can't make them. Yep,
Okay.
I guess so. I understand that.
Well, that excludes you of liability.
But I guess you can make them leave your property.
Yeah.
Or school property. I know that's something you don't want to do, and nobody ever wants to do it. But I hate to see somebody really get critically hurt because they wouldn't leave the field during a lightning delay. Glad it's not anything to do with my decision. The announcement covers the liability. That makes sense.
I did notice one injury last night. Number 50, Grant Mullen of North Lincoln. Looks like I think he dislocated his shoulder. He had a sling on near the end of the game.
Appreciate all the participation this morning. Appreciate all our listeners and all the input that they give. We will see you next week on Sports Talk. For Mike, David, I am David, Mike and Brett, and Sullivan over there with his head sticking up. I'm David. See you next week.